All right, so yesterday's video, we talked about Chemix Quarter Block. So this little guy right here, it's a supplement from Emodin that can help with reducing some cortisol due to your high stress life, high stress workouts, chronic autoimmune disorders that cause high stress. So I supplement with that, but there's also another supplement that I use in conjunction that really seems to help with my issue of gut permeability. So my issue is that if I eat a specific food that I'm a little bit intolerant to, or if I eat food post-workout, too close to post-workout, or if I eat food when I'm in a high stress state, I do get a lot of gut distension and gut permeability. So I will have water pull into my intestine. I may not digest my food too well. I feel more sick, lethargic, can't really think. So I got the brain fog. And it's not because I'm allergic to, let's say I eat gluten or egg whites. It's not because of that per se. It's more along the lines of my cortisol and my stress levels and it affecting my GI tract. So I supplement with glutamine, right? So glutamine, it's touted for muscle recovery. The reason why is because glutamine has the ability to help with hydration balance within muscles, within cells, outside of cells. So glutamine, it is one of the amino acids that we have. It's a building block of protein, and it's going to be the most abundant amino acid that we do have. So besides the cellular hydration, it helps with cell building blocks. It helps with nitrogen retention, acid balancing. So the need for glutamine isn't going to be the same for everybody. I really only recommend glutamine with those people who have digestive issues, with like gut permeability, irritable bowel syndrome. Those are the main people that I recommend it for, because the last thing you want to do is waste money on something that you may not need. Whereas if you don't have those issues, you're not a high stress individual, not a high cortisol producing individual, I would just say stick with whey protein. Okay, you can still get a tons amount of glutamine from that supplementally, especially post-workout. So glutamine, what do I use? So I use glutamine about 20 grams in the morning, and I do it on an empty stomach. Empty stomach because glutamine, it helps with healing the epithelial lining of your GI tract. So that's your small intestine, large intestine, colon. There's a lining within your GI tract, and it differs from chamber to chamber, but it's all going to be epithelial lining for the small and large intestine. So the last thing we want to have happen is have what's called gut permeability. And so this is an issue due to people who have severe trauma or high levels of chronic stress. It can cause toxins to go in and out of your intestines, which is not good, because if you know anything about high trauma patients, they have the risk of getting sepsis. And so that's when your organs have toxins in them. So there's an imbalance, and they get overrun by toxins and pathogens. So what we like to do is strengthen our gut lining. So I would say compare that to, you have a convertible car. If I put the convertible top to be a mesh, you're going to have, when it rains, especially here in Florida, it's going to go through the mesh. You're going to get wet. So what we want to do is we want to have a barrier, something that repels the water on top of our car. So then when it rains, we don't get wet. So that's what we're talking about. So we want to strengthen that tight junction. So instead of having some type of porous permeability, strengthen that tight junction so that we have better digestion. And so with children or athletes and teenagers, I think this is important to take a step back and really look at their gut health. So their gut health is going to predict their immune system. It's going to boost their immune system. It's also going to boost their muscle growth, muscle recovery, cognitive function, reduce autoimmune flare-ups. and which is another reason why I use it, because again, like I said before, I have some autoimmune disease, and so it does flare up some interleukin cells and causes me to have reactions. So I don't want that. And so what I would want to see children or athletes, teenage athletes, to do is to supplement on an empty stomach with that 10 to 20 grams of glutamine. You can either space it 10 and 10 or just do all 20 in the morning, depending on your schedule. But empty stomach to start the day, to start your digestion. And this way we can help with that muscle repair, muscle recovery. So the myths of glutamine is saying that it helps with muscle recovery, because you have people going into vitamin stores and you're like, hey, I need glutamine, creatine, whey protein. Unless you're, like I was saying, have an immune disorder, an autoimmune disorder, or a very stressed chronic individual, gut permeability, distension of the gut, don't waste your money. So it doesn't aid in muscle recovery and growth that way. It can pull in water into your muscle cells with the hydration balancing, and that's going to bring a more fuller look. However, if you're an individual who is on a ketogenic diet, sometimes the glutamine can convert into sugars, and so you can see a rise in blood glucose sugars, and also your ketone levels will be disordered. So I like to always go on priceplow.com. For those of you listening, those of you watching me, you're seeing my screen. This has become a very popular supplement again. It's making its way around. And so Revive MD just brought one out, but I like to use the one from NutriBio. It's got to be on here somewhere. The reason why is because they do use a trademark form, and they use, I think it's called like Kyola. Where are you at? But here we go. So again, PricePlow shows you a place where you can buy it. So 25 bucks over at NutriBio using coupon code PricePlow 102. Interesting. But Kiowa, so if that's how you pronounce it. But I like that quality. It's a fermented form, so again, vegan friendly, but it seems to do well because I don't want my glutamine to be not third-party tested and to not actually be glutamine and to be maltodextrin or something. So I trust NutriBio. So again, that's the one that I like to use. And if you want to find any other products, again, priceplow.com is what I like to go to. And again, just like what I was talking about, the gastrointestinal health, IBS, this is what PricePlow also writes up about. So again, a lot of gut health. And the other study, because there's tons of studies that have been done on glutamine, and they're doing more and more and more because more and more people are having GI issues, and more research is going into the gut microbiome. Everybody's talking about gut microbiome, like my gut bacteria. Everyone's saying you got to take probiotics, you got to take digestive enzymes. That's not a good idea. A lot of times people are intolerant to those probiotics. People need specific strains. People need specific digestive enzymes. It's not how many of colonization of the strain, but it's the type of strain. You have your origin of your bacteria, you have your species, and then your strain. So it really depends upon the person. And there's more research that needs to go into this because it's it just seems to be always improving every day. So, but glutamine, they've done this journal, and this is even back in 2011. Again, like I said, like it's been around for quite some time, but they talk about, again, how glutamine helps with the gut-line barrier, and it protects the body from getting toxins and pathogens into the blood because it helps with the endothelial lining of the gut. So they talk about the mucosal protection, again, protecting that lining of the gut. And they even give you a little picture of what's going on for glutamine supplementation and to reduce the gut permeability. So you can even see this like in cytokine storms. So pretty much like when you get sick and your body just goes crazy, your C-reactive protein goes up, and this may be another thing to add into your protection plan for boosting your immune system. So the only other thing I would say adding in with your glutamine would be NAC to help with producing more glutathione, and then also zinc. And so glutamine, NAC, and zinc, they go hand in hand, all working together to help with that gut lining protection and to heal the gut. Again, I've had endo and colonoscopies to really find out what's going on. So I want to be preventative to any other colitis issues or ulcers that may pop up or occur due to my medical history. So if you're in the same boat as me, I would definitely recommend trying out the glutamine 20 grams a day on an empty stomach for that gut healing capability. If you have a son or daughter who's an athlete or a high stress individual in their school, they get stressed out so much because they got schoolwork to do and they got to go into the perfect college, this is something to help them with. I would even recommend this to people who have autistic children. There's a lot of research going into the gut lining and your gut bacteria balance in your small intestine, large intestine, and colon for people with autism. So if we can balance those things out, make it healthy, we know that we can protect that vagus nerve and possibly prevent any other cognitive disorders as well. So if you like anything else regarding glutamine, gut health, or what I use to help with reducing my interleukin and managing my cytokine and my C-reactive protein, and basically just staying off of pharmaceuticals, then message below, comment below, like, share, comment, subscribe, send this to other people, and I'll be talking to y'all again soon.